All right, let's get right into it. Today we're diving into this really strange, sprawling theory that's been all over the internet, one that connects Ellen DeGeneres to the late Jeffrey Epstein. It's a pretty wild story, and it all starts in a place you would probably never expect, an old award show clip that has suddenly gone viral. So it really all kicks off with this one question. Why is a comedy bit from the 2014 Oscars, something that seemed totally harmless at the time, suddenly making the rounds again? Well, that single moment has been pulled apart and re-examined, and it's now the launching point for this really complex and kind of disturbing online theory. Okay, so first things first, let's break down the different pieces of this viral theory, step by step, just to see how this whole story got built online. So, here's the core idea of the whole thing, that a bunch of public events and even visual cues aren't what they seem. The people who believe this, they claim that these are actually coded messages and symbols that point to a hidden relationship between the talk show host and Jeffrey Epstein. The first big pillar of this whole theory, it revolves around a single, seemingly innocent word that, well, they claim is a secret code: pizza. And yeah, that brings us right back to the Academy Awards. While Ellen was hosting, she did this bit where she ordered pizzas for the entire star-studded audience. And this is the moment that theorists see as like Exhibit A. Now, people who follow this theory, they point to the moment right before the pizza shows up. While she's on stage, Ellen calls out to a Jeffrey in the audience. They see this as a direct shout-out, the moment that really kicks off the whole coded message. Okay, so as this whole skit is playing out, Ellen starts collecting money for the pizza, and theorists really zero in on who offers to pay: Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. And the fact that both of these men, and even Ellen herself, would later face all these public accusations of misconduct, well, for theorists, that is highly significant. So what exactly is this pizza code they're talking about? Well, according to the theory, words like pizza or cheese pizza aren't innocent at all. They're supposedly code words used by criminal networks to talk about illicit materials and activities. And this idea, it's basically the lens that theorists use to view everything else we're about to talk about. So to try and back this claim up, people move on from the Oscars and they point to another source: Jeffrey Epstein's own leaked communications. They argue that you can see this same coded language popping up in his emails, which they say suggests a clear connection. And here are a few of those examples they point to. Phrases like "send pizza to Bobby" and "buy a large cheese pizza for Bobby" are held up as proof that pizza was this recurring, kind of unusual term in Epstein's world, which in their view proves it was code. Okay, then the theory pulls in another piece of what you might call circumstantial evidence. It's this tweet from back in 2013 by Ellen's late DJ, Stephen Twitch Boss. And so theorists ask, why would he tweet such a specific and kind of weirdly exaggerated claim about how much pizza she eats? They suggest it's another nod to this alleged code. All right, so moving on from coded words, the second major part of this theory shifts to visual symbolism, something they claim was hidden in plain sight on Ellen's own talk show set. Now, this part of the theory really blew up when it was brought up by NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He's the one who pointed out this supposed visual link between the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show and a building on Epstein's infamous island. Okay, so here's the visual comparison that's really at the heart of this claim. On one side, you've got the background of Ellen's talk show set with its very distinct blue and white stripes. And on the other, you have the temple-like building on Epstein's island, and it has this, almost identical pattern. To people who believe this theory, this is absolutely not a coincidence. They see it as a deliberate public symbol of a hidden connection. Okay, so we've looked at the claims that are built on interpreting codes and symbols. But now let's switch gears and look at what the official, verifiable records actually say. It is a fact. In the thousands and thousands of pages of documents released about Jeffrey Epstein, Ellen DeGeneres' name does show up, but only once. And this right here is that one single entry. It's from a flight log all the way back in 1997 for a trip between Palm Beach and Georgia. And the crucial detail here is that the flight wasn't going to or from Epstein's private island. And the source material on this is pretty clear. Beyond this one single entry, there's just no evidence in the files of any kind of wrongdoing or any other connection. And all of this really brings us to the central tension. The thing at the heart of not just this theory, but pretty much all online conspiracy theories. This human desire we have to find patterns and meaning, even in events that might not be related at all. So, just to recap, what we've seen here is a story built by connecting all these different, seemingly unrelated things. A comedy bit at an awards show, supposed code words found in some emails, a random tweet from a DJ, and the design of a TV set. And when you weave them all together, they form a very dark story. And really, that leaves all of us with a final question. I mean, in a world where we're just bombarded with information, photos, old clips, data points, that line between a real, meaningful pattern and just a random coincidence, it can get really, really blurry. And figuring out where to draw that line, well, that's the real challenge, isn't it?